Now we're joined by Simon Rosenberg. He's the president of a US political think tank, NDN, and he's a former advisor to President Bill Clinton. Simon Rosenberg, so he seemed a bit on the defensive, don't you think, Barack Obama, trying to head off that criticism about the Afghanistan war and all the rest of it. I'm a man of peace, not of war.
Yeah, I don't think he was defensive. I think it was, he laid out his vision, and I think that for those of us in the U.S. who voted for him, there was always this sense that he might be special, that he might not be a normal politician, that a man had come along in a particular moment in time who might be able to help us overcome our differences and lead the world to a better place. And I think that's the Barack Obama that we saw today.
So you saw the Nobel Peace Prize as being a platform for him to set out his thinking on foreign policy?
Well, I think it's an acknowledgement and a recognition that what the world needed earlier this year was the most powerful nation in the world to once again to move back to its historic place in the world, which is a nation that was working towards moving people together, that was a benevolent nation, that was trying to advance human progress around the world. That is not what America was up until Barack Obama's presidency. And I think there was a hope by the Nobel Committee that to restore America's rightful place in the world with this very special leader was worth their gamble. And I think it was a gamble that paid off today.
So you're saying explicitly there then that the world didn't want to be led by George Bush, because some parts of the world were quite happy with him, weren't they?
Those were a very small portion of the world's population, I think.
Oh, all right.
You know, and I think there were open questions about whether or not America had was ceasing being the enlightened, benevolent leader of the world that it had been for most of the 20th century. And I think that the hope that the Nobel Committee offered to the world was an encouragement, an incentive for Barack Obama to reach high and to do everything that he can within his power, using this incredibly powerful nation of the U.S. to lead the world to a better place and during a time of trouble. And I think that the president made it clear today that that is his goal, that is his mission, that he's trying to use the tools that he has to help us overcome our differences and lead us to a better place. And I think that that's authentically what Barack Obama sees his presidency to be about.
Okay, the Norwegians specifically mentioned the fact that he has changed the international political climate by wanting to engage with the Muslim world in particular, and also his moves towards reducing the nuclear arsenals in the world between, you know, Russia and America. But it's too early to tell, isn't it, whether he's done very much on either of those?
Look, I think it's very early in the Obama presidency, and we will find out over the next several years, was he a great speech maker and a mediocre president, or really a very special leader who came at the right time. It's still too early to tell, but I think that I am hopeful here. I think many Americans are, and many of the people of the world, that we may have gotten lucky, and we've gotten this very special leader at a troubled time in the world. And certainly, I think encouraging the president today, the way the Nobel Committee did, was the right thing.
All right,
because America is different from many of the other countries of the world. Our role today is special, and I think this special president may really have disproportionate influence in the months and years to come about what happens in human history. And I think so far we're off to a good start.
But you've got to spell it out, though. You still haven't discounted the possibility then that in time this prize could prove an embarrassment to Barack Obama, could be a bit of a millstone round his neck.
I don't think so. I think there's tremendous pride in the U.S. today. We are aware that this is a president who's fully engaged on domestic issues. He's not a wallflower. He's fighting on many fronts here, trying to improve the country. But we're in the middle of his presidency, not at the beginning or the end. And I think, you know, history's judgment will be based on, as one of your folks said in the piece, on what he does, not what he says. And I think but so far in the U.S., this is an ambitious president who's trying to do good and using all the tools at his disposal to make the world and the United States a better place. History will be the judge whether he's successful, but I think he's off to a great start.
Okay, thanks very much, Simon Rosenberg.